tenga gawe lagu choni langa lagu choni langa pesceago luande dagu tenga gawe lagu choni langa do hamba digufuna esinzini necessitra dueni si bedella e trangueni di te di gufumane lagu choni langa zagugui como dogu tenga gawe lagu choni langa do hamba digufuna esinzini necessitra dueni si bedella e trangueni di te di gufumane do do be ba 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 la do ba bu bi di la do ba le ba de ba do ba lo ba be ba bu ba be bo be bo bi ba we ba la ba de ba de ba we da da zo do ba bu ba bu you do lu we la do we do hamba digufuna esinfini necessitra dueni si bedella e trangueni di te di gufumane les cités, tili, 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 gilon, gilon, yaman, dilon, jolon.
Come on, ladies and gentlemen, can we put our hands together for her? Today I was just flowing from the saying that music is a universal language, because I'm not sure if all of you could see the lyrics of the song, or you were just following on the beat of the song. What were you doing? We're doing both. I trust you, right? I trust you. We're going to start with our program for today. My name is Joseph Mudau. I'm employed by Gibela as the head of training and org development, and that is who I am. So I'm going to be taking you through this program, and I'm hoping that we will be able to manage our time and the activities that are also important for this festivity. I'm hoping that where you are comfortable. And if you are not, please just make sure that you talk to our marshals so that you are able to change the chair. Do you want me to swap you around, or you are comfortable? No, guys, I'm just over-promising. You know MCs, they can over-promise. If I swap you around, where am I going to take you to? We're going to start with our program right now, and without any waste of time, I'm going to be calling Dr. Vatiswa Papu Zamkaka to come to the fore and just open this session by the words of welcome. And I want you to participate. I want you to also smile when the camera comes to you. Even behind the mask, it's possible to capture that smile. Is that okay? So let's put our hands together for Dr. Zamkaka as he comes to the fore.
Sanbonan, Dumelang, Abshen, Goeiemorgen, good morning. We are in South Africa. I'm sure that greeting reminded us of where we are. The program director, the University Council under the leadership of Mr. Manyoni, the Vice Chancellor, Professor van Steden, the TUT Executive Management Committee, staff, TUT students, TUT student leaders, the Gibela Board of Directors, under the leadership of Ms. Chandli, the Gibela CEO, Mr. Danisa, the Gibela executives and staff at large, the DSI and NRF colleagues in our midst today, the CEDA colleagues, the City of Tshwane colleagues, the captains of industry, distinguished guests from various sectors, good morning. This day reminds us of a story that was once told. Allow me to share that story in a few minutes. It is a story of a young man who graduated a BA degree at the University of Cape Town. And on the day of graduation, this young man being so excited that he has obtained a degree, it has been said that he stood in the staircase of Jameson Hall, for those who know UCT, where the graduations take place, and stood there with the arms up saying, "Hey world, look at me, I have a BA degree." And the world responded and said, "Come, we'll show you the rest of the alphabets." The moral of the story is that we owe this world nothing, or rather the world owes us nothing. And we owe this world everything. During our time that we are given, we need to leave the legacy. We need to do that which we were created for. And this day reminds us of that. This is exactly what this day is appropriately meaning. That we are responding to a call that says, world, we are making our own input and impact during our time on earth. And therefore, we are creating a legacy for the generations to come. Today, we have gathered here to celebrate great work done by our research chair in manufacturing and skills development, which is led by Professor Khumbulani Mpofu. This research chair is a true demonstration of great collaborative efforts between the university and industry to solve societal challenges, which include research to localize manufacturing technologies and the associated commercialization of these technologies to resolve the high youth unemployment while solving the transport challenges of many South Africans. The research chair is funded, colleagues, by Gibela Rail Transport Consortium. It has also received complementary funding from CEDA for incubation support, as well as the National Research Foundation for replication of these capabilities to the bus manufacturing, aircraft manufacturing, and boat manufacturing sectors to expand the impact created and present a sustainable value proposition. As I welcome you today, I would like us to reflect briefly on the key highlights in relation to what the research chair has achieved in the past 5 years. This is a proud moment for us as TUT community. 5 patents have been registered and prototyped. Executives had an opportunity to view these earlier in the week on Monday when we were in Niger at the Gibela plant. The state-of-the-art virtual reality laboratory to develop manufacturing skills has been established. I thought you would clap hands. Over 70 conference papers have been published in peer-reviewed conferences. The research chair has also hosted 2 international conferences. Over 30 DHET accredited journals have been published, colleagues. You know what that means if you're working for a university. A maximum of 5 postdoctoral fellows have been supported annually. Over 22 master's students graduated, and over 7 doctoral graduated over the past 5-year period. 8 career pathways have been created at TUT. What that means? These are the opportunities to advance academic careers for junior and new staff. Over 25 million rand complementary external funding has been generated. That deserves a hand of applause. The National Research Foundation South African Research Chair Initiative in Future Transport Manufacturing Technologies has been established, as I said, to replicate rail initiative in other transport sectors. Ramsari, an incubator, has been established to take our very own university IP to market, thus bridge the vast innovation chasm gap in our country. Lastly, there has been a contribution to the Gibela's Innovation Hub to support innovation at the industry partner. What is the road ahead, and how does it look like? Looking at the road ahead, colleagues, in the next 3 years of the MOU, which we'll be signing today, the research chair plans to focus on the implementation and operationalization of the university industry technology transfer mode through various established structures. The executives at Gibela have welcomed an intervention that seeks to define technology readiness levels of the university-developed innovations from concept to commercialization. Key areas have been identified in the value chain, and in the coming 3 years, a concerted effort will be invested in operationalization of this groundbreaking approach to link university research and innovation effort to real industry problems, thus deliberately creating real economic paths for investment into R&D. This effort will contribute to the economic recovery planned by government and thus reduce unemployment, inequality, and poverty in the long term. I believe, Professor Mpofu, you will elaborate further in your speech in this regard. Over and above what I've just said, looking at the road ahead, the research chair plans to have 15 publications annually. TUT staff, are you not clapping hands? 15 publications annually? And I'm talking about the head accredited. 1 doctoral graduate and 3 master's graduates per annum. 1 new career path per year will be realized, and 1 new idea will be industrialized every year. As I close, colleagues, I would like to quote an African proverb which says, if you want to run fast, run alone. If you want to run far, run together. Thus, we have deliberately invited the CEOs and executives of private sector companies. Colleagues, your coming here is celebrated, and we would like to invite you to strategically partner with us so we advance the research agenda through the entrepreneurial approach to education, thus alleviate the high unemployment burden, inequality, and poverty in our beautiful country. Let us run together, colleagues, so that we run far. We are indeed the ones that we have been waiting for. Let us chart the new territories and take our country from glory to glory. With God, it is possible. In my language, as I close, Program Director, I say, halala TUT, halala. Amaqobokazana ngalala endleleni ngabe kunyemelekile.
Halala. Dr. Zamtak, I would like to repeat that last line, but I'm definitely sure that I'm going to become a casualty. Anyone who is very sure that, do you want me to give you a mic, sir? To repeat what she said? Everybody's, they're running away from that. Thank you so very much, Doc, for those warm words. We feel so much welcome in here. And I'm hoping that you also feel the same, isn't it? So I know that in the interest of time, we're very behind. So, but I want to encourage all the speakers that are coming in here to still stick to the minutes that we've given you to speak. This is a very formal academic event. So we don't want those things that normally happen in some of the events that we run, where you will find an MC coming to whisper while you are speaking. And I'm hoping that you will time yourself so that we don't have issues there. And along the way, I want you to remind me, if you don't blame me, but I want you to remind me of an executive story. This executive, it was before lockdown, that, they will travel, they will travel the world and also get exposure in other international markets. But this guy, when he came back, he had learned, I think, one thing, which is the power of storytelling. But in trying to pick up some lessons learned from the event, somehow he got it wrong when he came back in South Africa. So I want you to remind me along the program so that I tell you the story. Is that okay? So just remind me that, that executive who got the story wrong. Okay? So on this note, colleagues, I'm not going to waste your time. I'm going to invite the VC from Tshwane University of Technology to come and share with us the message, congratulatory message to the Gibela Research Chair. I want us to put our hands together for Prof. Van Staden as he ascends the stage.
Program Director, Likai, Gibela, Avusheni, Dimasharoni, Molo Kunjani, Sawona Kunjani, Goeiemorgen, good morning. We are the People's University. Right. Program Director, dear CEOs, Managing Directors, colleagues, ladies and gentlemen. Today we meet for two reasons. Firstly, to congratulate Gibela on their 5-year journey in supporting the research, innovation and commercialization partnership with the Tshwane University of Technology. Secondly, to launch the next 3-year partnership with a ceremonial, which will be ceremonially signed later today. I congratulate the Gibela CEO, Mr. Hector Danisa, for investing in the advanced manufacturing future of this country by committing to a generously funded research chair at TUT for a total of 8 years. I think this requires also a hand. This includes both the first 5 years and the second phase. It is also imperative to congratulate you and your team on train set number 73. I also congratulate Dr. Mkono Liwani, the Executive Corporate Services and Traction Motors Operation, for leading and steering the Gibela Chair Committee from conception with dexterity and finesse over the years. More important, and continuing to be an avid sponsor after handing over to the chairperson role to Mr. Joseph Mudau. Very impressive, the commitment is there. I must congratulate the previous Deputy Vice-Chancellors for Research, Innovation and Engagement that have been instrumental through the years in this partnership. They passionately embraced and nurtured the critical partnership for the social impact needed by our country, obviously also the continent and globally. A special word of congratulations to our current Deputy Vice-Chancellor for Research, Innovation, Engagement, none other than Dr. Vati Papu Zamkaka, for a visionary leadership which led to the conceptualization of this auspicious event to profile the great work done by the Research Chair and for paving the future way forward. Her energy and passion for the advancement of research agenda is indeed recognized and celebrated. I must also congratulate our research chairholder, Professor Mpofu, for his tenacity, diligence, and for always going over and above his call of duty. The university is proud to have a research professor of his caliber. May you stand up, Prof. Mpofu? People see the young man. Thank you, Prof. Given my special interest in reverse engineering and in particular in closed-loop automated manufacturing, it will be important in my congratulatory message this morning to elaborate the global and continental imperatives before zooming into the national aspects connected to our gathering today. When we look at the global imperatives, the rail industry is globally a key enabler towards affordable, safe, reliable, and clean transport. The global rail market was valued at $789 million and is projected to grow over $1 million by the end of this decade. This is likely to increase given that the drive to green modes of transport. For example, the recent hydrogen train projects which are gaining momentum in Europe. Hydrogen-driven trains are in operation in several Western countries, and this trend is promising to grow in the coming years with greater climate change forecasted globally. Interestingly, TUT, a couple of years ago, developed a hydrogen bike. Maybe we should have had it here, Prof. van Wyk. At the continental context, it's important to mention that the railway infrastructure, according to the report by the African Development Group, has been facing a decline. The following is noted. In the current situation, railways have suffered a strong decline due to poor economic, technological, and institutional conditions, thus aggravating the African rail situation. Back at home, the national context. It's a well-known fact that there has been over 20 years of disinvestment in the rail manufacturing sector in South Africa. This fact also then corroborates the important role South Africa needs to play in the light of the African Development Bank Group study. The African Development Bank Group noted well that the rolling stock has a key role to play in the well-performing transportation system in South Africa. The contracting of Gibela in 2014 by PRASA could not have come at a better time to revitalize the passenger railcar manufacturing sector. PRASA is congratulated on this phenomenal intention to ensure affordable, safe and reliable transport for all in our beautiful country. Gibela began this contract and recognized the technological and manufacturing skills gap, establishing the Gibela Research Chair in Manufacturing and Skills Development at the Tshwane University of Technology. For a new company to take this leap of faith is indeed an illustration of understanding the dynamics in our country and the need to empower young people to freely move and to unlock economic emancipation opportunities. Not only did they end with the establishment of the research chair, but worked closely with the research chair to establish an enterprise incubator program to provide alternative employment trajectories for young people, thus contributing to the establishment of startups that will ensure our economy recover even amidst the COVID. Again, congratulations to DSBD and SEDA. The company went on further to engaging the NRF and the DSI on establishing the SACHI Chair in Future Transport Manufacturing Technologies, which was finalized in 2020 to replicate appropriate technologies to other transport modes. Congratulations also to the NRF. All the above have happened in the space of a 5-year period. Remarkable indeed. I congratulate Gibela on this significant and resolute step. Very few companies are able to boost this stride, having been recently established. I think they indeed need a good hand. On average, 3 masters, 1 doctoral, and 3 postdoctoral fellows annually successfully complete their studies. We are, after all, a university. And fellowships through the partnerships. Congratulations to them. We wish them the very best in their careers with a strong manufacturing foundational skills exposure through this private and public partnership. In the course of this partnership, several awards recognizing great work done by the research chair and the team have been received. These awards are from the Innovation Hub's GAP competition, the National Science and Technology Forum, the Standard Bank Rising Stars Awards, Regional Southern Africa Institute of Industrial Engineers, the Global Industrial Engineering and Operations Management Society, and UNESCO Newton Chair Prize. Indeed, very, very impressive. Congratulations to the chairholder and his avid team of postdoctoral fellows, doctoral students, master students, and more revolutionary, the incubatees. And even more noteworthy development of this day is the launching of the 3-year extension of the partnership to ensure good work be continued. Through this partnership between Gibela, TUT, and the other partners such as the NRF, Mercita, TIA, SIDA, DSBD, there is hope not just for this country, but also for the continent and our contribution as a university globally. I congratulate all in this partnership and use this opportunity to salute all of you and emphasize the journey to a social compact through manufacturing, research, innovation, and partnerships. Siyabonga, kiyaleboga, inkosi kakhulu. Baie dankie. Thank you very much. Umuntu, ngabantu.
Can we put our hands together for Prof. van Staden? Thank you so very much, Prof. In actual fact, to some of us, our story with Prof. van Staden comes a long way as young people at school. In actual fact, Prof. van Staden was in the Technicon, which was in the, should I say, in the township. I don't know how you made it there. You're very tough. You're very, very tough. So yeah, I think a lot can be told about that. So thank you so much, sir, for such words. And I'm hoping that for those who are hearing about this research here for the first time, you are getting to know what we are also doing. I also want to just give the updates that this event is also streaming live. And for those that are watching us live, we want to encourage you to also interact with us. Continue to write your comments, your takeaways out of the event in that comment box. Let us know how you are finding this event and share it as well with others. Because we knew that we could not host everyone into this room. We created that link so that other people can also connect from where they are. Is that okay? So let's continue to share those reflections. Even I think with your phone, whether you do it now or you do it later, I will also encourage you, that at least today, share just that simple, I think, comment. Also just share what you're doing in here as we continue to spread the message. I think when I come back, the team will also give us the hashtag. For those who are technocrats, you will know what hashtags does. So we will also share that with you so that you are able to copy the content in there. So we're going to be moving into the next item where we're going to be calling one of our guest speakers here to come and inspire us, during this time of COVID. But going back to my story of that exec who got it wrong, who got the story wrong, one of the things that he found in that conference, that conference that is happening offshore now, so he's attending a conference like this one, an inspirational speaker, came on the stage, like what is going to be happening here now. So the guy came on the stage and he started that I've spent most of my time in the hands of a woman. Did you hear what I said? I've spent most of my time in the hands of a woman. And that woman, ladies and gentlemen, was not my wife. Before I conclude, can we put our hands together for Mr. Mthokozisi to come and give us an inspirational talk today? Let's allow him to come here, but remind me so that I conclude my story. Mr. Mthokozisi.
Good morning to you all, ladies and gentlemen. I'd like you to just take time to just relax. Look to your left, look to your right, and tell the person next to you that you have a great mind. Say it like you mean it. Although you might not really believe it, they have a great mind. I count it a pleasure this blessed morning to be amongst great minds. It's not by chance or accident you are sitting on that chair, it's divine providence. History in advance had it recorded that you'd find yourself where you are today, achieving what you're going to achieve to change the future. And so as I stand before you, it is not a figure of speech. I mean it from the depth of my heart that you do have a great mind. As we walk together this morning, it's crucial for us to understand that there are issues at stake. Issues at stake in our nation that you have sat down to collaborate and share ideas and be able to set the bar higher than ever before in the rail industry. Now, this must not be taken for granted, but given the seriousness it deserves. In the journey you're going to face in the coming 3 years, I'd like you to hold on to 3 statements. How many statements? First one, whatever the mind can conceive and believe, it can achieve. Now, what am I saying? For you to be seated here, some great minds took time to conceive the vision. And what is a vision? Some may ask. Vision is the art of seeing that which others cannot see. And the fact that you have seen this before it became to be shows that you're sitting at a pedestal which will change the future for many who are to come. Now, this vision is crucial because it is in line with the Sustainable Development Goals, number 11, which talks about sustainable cities and communities. Many a time, we speak about communities, but you need to realize this morning that communities actually break down to people like you and me. I'm talking about the girl child. I'm talking about the mother and the children who need the benefits that are going to come from this venture. The benefits of being able to travel at ease, to make it on time, where they're supposed to go, when they're supposed to go, at the time they're supposed to get there. And because you've put your minds together and conceived this vision, I would like to rest assure you in advance that this has become what it is going to become before you see it become what it's already become. Very crucial. So it's crucial to understand that whatever the mind can conceive and believe, it can achieve. Statement number 1. Statement number 2. My desire and my encouragement as you continue walking this journey to bring this project to fruition is the philosophy of just 2 words. Each time you put your minds together to make this a reality, dwell on these 2 words. And these 2 words are simply excellence now. You didn't get me. What is excellence? Excellence is not a skill, dear friends. Excellence is an attitude. An attitude that says, I will strive to do better next time. And each time you put your minds together to build this empire that will be a force to reckon with, not only in South Africa, not only in Africa, but actually globally, to a point whereby other countries will measure TUT as a benchmark. Other countries will measure TUT and Gibela Institute as a benchmark. Gibela Rail Transport Consortium combined with Tshwane University of Technology, Engineering, Faculty, and Built Environment as a benchmark to see what can come to become when minds put each other together. Now, when I speak excellence, I can already see, because of the vision that you've put in place, that in each hub that is going to be set out throughout the country, there is going to be excellence. As you set up that virtual reality where students will be able to master and see and come to be what they were born to be, because what you put together, there will be excellence. Now, number one, whatever the mind can conceive and believe, it can achieve. Number two, excellence now. In every endeavor of your life, remember excellence now. Last but not least, number three, it is a reality that as this venture kicked off in 2016, there have been challenges. And as we go further, at 3 more years, there will be challenges. But I don't want you to forget this statement. Every setback is a setup for a step up. Whatever setbacks await us in the journey of setting this up, never forget that every setback is a setup for a step up. And so when the challenge comes, be in a position where you are determined to apply your mind and allow the opportunities that you have in that great mind to find themselves in those challenges whereby you can identify a setup. As I speak to you now, there is a crisis in our country. One could define that as a setback. What crisis am I talking about? It is not a hidden secret that as I speak to you now, the unemployment rate is sitting at 36.2%. Now, let's draw in to the youth, the age group between 15 and 34. We're sitting at 46.3%. And to many, they could define that as a difficulty. But remember, opportunity lies in every difficulty. And what I love about what has happened in this launch of Tshwane University of Technology and Gibela Research Chair is that you have taken this difficulty and turned it into opportunity whereby employment will be created. And in the creation of this employment, it will create other opportunities where there is a relief from inequality, poverty, and unemployment. And for that, dear friends, whether you believe it or not, I would like you to clap your hands for yourselves. As I close, I want to give you a few quotes from my most favorable book. For the first one, which says, whatever the mind can conceive and believe, it can achieve. I want to remind you that for those who think it's impossible, Luke 1 verse 37 says, with God, nothing is impossible. For the second one, excellence now. From my favorite book, I would like to remind you in Ecclesiastic 9 verses 10, which says, whatever your hand findeth to do, do with all your might. For there is no work, no device, no knowledge, no wisdom in the grave where thou goest. Last but not least, for number 3, which says every setback is a setup for a step up. I'd like to remind you from my favorite book, Romans 8, verses 28, which says, all things work together for good, for them that love the Lord, to them who are called in accordance to his purpose. Dear friends, you all have a purpose, and you are achieving that purpose. As I close, one wise man said, if I give you money, I've shared with you my wealth. If I give you time, I've shared with you part of my life. I'd like to thank you all for giving me 10 minutes of your life. And I want to rest assure you that indeed, everyone under my voice is born for greatness, and the best is yet to come. I thank you.
We can do better than that. Can we put our hands together for him one more time? Thank you very much for such an inspirational message. I'm believing that we are inspired ourselves, and we are also ready to take our responsibility. Things that comes to mind, I think those 3 things, do you remember them? What was the first one? He spoke about the power of our mind. And number 2, he also spoke about excellence tomorrow. And excellence now. And he also encouraged us to deal with setbacks, isn't it? All right, so we are encouraged. We are encouraged indeed. And thank you so very much, sir, for such a great message. I'm going to be inviting the Executive Dean, Faculty of Engineering and the Built Environment from Tshwane University of Technology. And that will be Dr. Grace Kanakana Katumba. She'll be coming here to reflect on the significance of the research chair. Are we able to put our hands together for her? Let's put our hands one more time.
The Vice Chancellor of Tshwane University of Technology, Prof. Anstaden, the Deputy Vice Chancellor, Dr. Papu, the CEO of Gibela, Mr. Mandisa, I think the CEO of TUT is here, and industry stakeholders, and the delegation from Gibela, the staff and students from Tshwane University of Technology, and all our colleagues and friends that we invited to celebrate this day, welcome. I would like to say the Maccheroni. Dumelang. We are in Tshwane, so we must speak a little bit of Sotho. I would really like to take this opportunity to congratulate Prof. Mpofu and his team for achieving such a great milestone. Today we are here to celebrate the mark of the 5-year term for the research chair. And let me tell you that when it started in 2016, we didn't think that we were going to be here today. The previous speaker has indicated that, of course, excellence now, that's what we aspire to. But we had a lot of challenges as well, right? But we navigated until we get where we are today. So I would like to thank the team that has worked very hard to get this far. I would like to thank the leadership of Prof. Anvik and Prof. Munda for nurturing this chair, to get where it is today. I believe it's because of the enabling environment that was created for it to be able to get where it is today. And I would also like to thank, of course, Gibela and all the other funders. We had other funders that contributed to this task today. We spoke of CEDA, we spoke of the NRF, we spoke of, now the transport teacher that have joined hands with this work that enabled the chair to be where it is today. I'd really like to thank you for the role that you have played. The funding that we receive as a faculty, because I'm now going to speak a little bit down, not above, down as a faculty, it has really played a significant role in growing our faculty. I must say that the chair, if you don't know, is resulting on the Department of Industrial Engineering. And this funding arrived at a significant time to kind of ignite the department and push it forward to be able to get where it is today. The department had only about 3 staff members by then. But if you look in terms of the capacity building and the skill transfer that has happened within the faculty because of this chair, it's amazing. As I speak right now, there's about 20 staff members within the department, plus or minus. It really speaks of the significant growth within that particular department. And of course, as engineers, you know, we strive for excellence, and we would like to push ourselves a little bit further. There's a lot of work that has transpired or that came out of this chair. I'm not going to repeat, the research output that came out of the chair because the chair will elaborate a little bit more. But I think what's more significant for me is what has come out in terms of the startups. I always say that as a university of technology, our really role should be to develop technology that really directly impacts on the social development of our country. If we are doing beautiful research and we are publishing, exciting stuff, and it's just lying somewhere on the table, or rather in a repository somewhere, at the database somewhere, but nobody's using it, what beauty is it? I mean, is it not better to develop solutions that our people can actually utilize? As a faculty, we find ourselves within the hub of the automotive sector, and now we are, getting to the hub of the rail manufacturing. We've thought it is really important that the work that we do, it directly impacts on the communities and the work that is being done around us. So we are really excited of the startup and the innovation space that has been created as a result of this chair. And we are really, as a faculty, we are very excited about the future of where this chair is going. Today, we're talking about 10 startups. There's the next 3 years of the journey that we're going to embark on. I'm quite sure that as we move forward, we are going to put our energy together to ensure that these startups can graduate from being a startup to companies which are viable, that are able to commercialize, that actually brings funding back to the university again because it is a successful, viable business. And we're really looking forward to support that agenda. As a faculty, we also embarked on the strategic planning at the beginning of the year. And in our strategic plan, our focus is really on nurturing innovation. So I have no doubt that this chair is going to contribute directly to a strategic direction, which is to drive innovation for social impact. So we're working together to ensure that this issue of innovation is not just talk and chalk colloques. We like to see things, practical things, applied research that is actually going to be, to solve industry-related solutions. We always speak about the triple helix and the role it's play within the academia and industry and the community. And now we speak about, the quadruple helix because previously we used to talk about industry, academia, and government. We neglected community. So now we're including community into this because we really like to make sure that the work that we do, it really impacts directly to the communities that we serve. I had the opportunity to visit Gibela. I was telling my colleagues that I have been to Kudeport, the old Transnet plant, where they used to build or refurbish trains. I had the opportunity to go to Bombela and their maintenance plant, where they used to build they do the maintenance of the How train. I had opportunity to visit Gibela now on Monday. If I reflect on the 3 plants and the work that is being done there, it really gives us an opportunity to be on the forefront on developing innovation for the rail industry. And the work, we get opportunity to solve real life problems. Our students get opportunity to go and develop solutions that the industry is going to utilize. And it cannot get better than that, because we cannot produce engineers which are not effective, that cannot do the work. As a faculty, if we go to that route, then we have lost our plot. So we are really, the role this chair is playing for us as a faculty and as a university of technology, the People's University, is quite significant, because we liked that opportunity of doing real-life problems and transferring the knowledge into skills and into tangible solutions for industry. Is really the crux of the matter. So colleagues, as we celebrate the start of the next phase of the project, we do believe that it's possible that we're going to have viable businesses that's going to emanate from this chain, that we are going to turn into commercial, industry, that maybe one day we're going to generate a lot of employment for our young people. Statistics are out there to say that the unemployment rate is high, but we like to play a significant role to reduce that. Not with talk, but with actions. So thank you very much.
Can we put our hands together for her once more? I thought in your speech, Dr. Grace, you were going to also indicate that you tried to run away from us, from the research chair, but you also back. So within the 5 years, you left and also came back, right? So it means we're doing a wonderful work this side. Thank you indeed for trusting us in that regard. Is that okay? So we're going to proceed now with our program. And I'm just thinking now to reflect one more time in terms of my earlier story, as we are going to call the next person to speak in here. So when I was listening to Umtokozisi, I also felt like that South African executive who got it wrong, because when inspirational speaker speaks, they make you feel inspired that you can also climb Kilimanjaro without having to make preparations. So now this inspirational speaker says, we are in the, it's just at the pitch of the speech. Ladies and gentlemen, I have spent most of my time in the hands of a woman. And that woman was not my wife. And these things is happening in America, not here, guys. Remember, the executive is not here. He's in somewhere there, and he's getting inspired that this guy, one day, I'm going to speak like this one. And even when I go home, they will know that I was not in South Africa, not even in Africa. I was somewhere, out there. So now, we are going to swap things a little bit in the program. As we swap them, just one item, where Prof. Mpofu was supposed to come there. There is a request from Gibela board member who is going to give a speech on behalf of the chairman of the board, who was supposed to speak in that item. So they have requested that we fast track that item to be where it is now. So just after, when she is done with that, with her speech, please, guys, remind me to conclude this. I really need to close it, yeah? I really need to close that story. You don't want me to close the story? You're okay with that? You want me to close the story, isn't it? So after that, let's wait for that. So Gibela board member will come to the fore and give us a speech. And that is Nwabisa. I want us to put our hands together for her. as she's ascend the stage. And before, maybe while she's coming here, I want to just encourage one more time. I spoke about the hashtags. If you are still asking what is a hashtag, don't worry. Those who understand what hashtag is, they will, they will. Okay. So the first hashtag we're using is Launch Gibela Research Chair. The second one is Gibela Research Chair. So in full, Gibela Research Chair, that is our hashtag. For today's event, it's going to be Launch Gibela Research. Of course, you know what to do, a prefix, in making sure that we've got a proper hashtag. Can we put our hands together once more for her?
Thank you, Program Director. TUT Vice Chancellor and Principal, Deputy Vice Chancellor, Executive and Assistant Deans, Research Chair, members of academia, TUT researchers, TITA CEO, Praza and my Gibela colleagues, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, allow me to say to you all, good afternoon. Good morning, I think. Yes, it's still not an afternoon. Good afternoon, good morning to you all. It is a privilege and an honor for me to stand before you today at this point in time as we launch the Gibela TUT Research Chair, especially considering that it's an extension from the 5 years that was signed. Allow me to briefly introduce Gibela to you. Gibela is an emerging South African train manufacturer, awarded the tender to design, manufacture, and maintain a fleet of a total of 600 passenger trains. Gibela's mandate is threefold. The first fold being to foster rail as a preferred commuter transport mode. The question we ask is how? By manufacturing new, reliable, safe trains for 2.3 million daily rail commuters in our country, South Africa. Secondly, is to revitalize South Africa's railway industry by building the state-of-the-art factory fully equipped with the latest technology, highly skilled operations team, with a majority being youth and most engineers, who deliver superior quality trains and services to our client PRASA. The last fold being economic development, which means that we focus on creating jobs, developing skills, attaining greater than 65% local content, promoting Black economic empowerment and uplifting of communities. You can see in the structure of Gibela that it's 100% Gibela, but there's already 30% owned by South Africans. Hope has been renewed in our country transport system by this mega project, which forms part of crucial SA government policies. Gibela is the biggest rail project in the world. Gibela has realized the critical need for South Africa to build, develop, and retain knowledge that equips people to be successful in our rapidly changing world. Higher education underpinned by science and innovation is the way to help generate this knowledge. However, universities cannot do it alone. There is new knowledge that comes from research chairs, the private sector, and other organizations, and collaborating effectively make the most of this additional stream of knowledge effective. Therefore, Gibela considers collaboration with institutions of higher learning an essential step. TUT was identified 5 years ago is ideally positioned to play the anchor role in providing the scientific and academic foundation for the revitalization of the railway industry through this research chair. TUT's research focus was in line with Gibela's manufacturing requirements in areas such as rail manufacturing, press tool application, automation, as well as industrialization. Collaboration between TUT and Gibela allows, amongst the others, access to leading-edge research knowledge, research infrastructure, commercialization of research ideas and development of in-house capabilities, and identification of potential future employees. Our desired output is not only to see academic excellence, innovation in railway and short learning program, but also to see academia creating practical connections and solutions for the corporate world that will stimulate the economy, and this would be rail, which has been ignored for the longest of times. In the past 5 years, we have made a tremendous achievement. To name just a few: delivery of manufacturing jigs in 2017-2018 by TUT students. Over 100 journals, conferences, and books chapters in the past 5 years have been developed. Since 2016, more than 3 postdoctoral fellows, over 15 masters, and 7 doctoral students have graduated. Establishment of an incubator funded by SEDA to assist with bridging the innovation gap. Established the National Research Chair to broaden technology and innovation application to broader transport sectors. Over 5 patents have been registered in the past 5 years. Collaboration with more than 10 countries in Africa and globally. Over 5 new career paths have been created in the establishment. The question remains, though, as we extend this relationship with TUT, are we producing academic excellence? People are graduating at master's and doctoral level? Do we have applied technology solving our industrial challenges? And lastly, how can we do more to develop technologies in our space? In conclusion, let us continue pulling together our collective resources. Together we can make the appropriate interventions and take the next steps to build the skills we need to make South African railway sector the leader on the African continent. I thank you all.
A round of applause for Nwabisa. Remember, this is a member of the board, so if you don't show some excitement, you know what it means, eh? These are the people who can pull off the plugs. I was hoping that a lot of you who are still very interested to this relationship will be closer here to make sure that she's well taken care of. So thank you so very much for that reflection. We really appreciate, yeah? We really, really appreciate. Right. We're going to be going into the next item, and so this is going to be very light. I think it allows you to also have a little bit of a breather there. We are going to allow the Masikela music, I think, just to take us a little bit with entertainment. But as I wrap up my story, ladies and gentlemen, I've spent most of my time, ladies and gentlemen, in the hands of a woman. And that woman was not my wife. And that woman was my mother, ladies and gentlemen. And the crowd went, on an applause. And they celebrated this guy because he was very inspirational. But the South African executive said, when I go back home, I'm going to tell the same story. After the break. So can we put our hands together for the Masikela group as they're going to give us some entertainment.
dreams come true. Beautiful love, you're all a mystery. Beautiful love, what have you done to me? I was contented till you came along, thrilling my soul with your song. Beautiful love, I've roamed your paradise, searching for love, my dreams to realize, reaching for heaven, depending on you. Beautiful love, will my dreams come true? Come true. Shashalaza, siobabamba, awema. Shashalaza, siobabamba, awema. Awushatina, stimela, stimela, sasem sawawa. Awushatina, oh, stimela, stimela, sasem sawa. Joshalaza, siobabamba, awema. Joshalaza, siobabamba, awema. Awushatina, stimela, stimela, sasem sawa. Awushatina, stimela, stimela, sasem sawa.
thina stimela stimela sasamsawa awusho thina stimela stimela sasamsawa awusho thina stimela stimela sasamsawa.
Hello, everybody. We are going to start now with our program. Please come back. Let's come in so that we finish this on time. Let's welcome everyone back as we are going to finalize this program. So we're going into the last lap of the program now. So we want you to be back. We are encouraging those that are at the foyer to come back. All right, welcome back. Welcome back, and thank you so very much, ladies and gentlemen. We appreciate that at least you are now this side. You are now back. Enjoy your status. So this is going to be sort of a working session because we also want to be mindful of time. So enjoy your status. Then I think as soon as we're done with the program, then we can go for our lunch. We're hoping that whatever you're having is going to hold. So it's going to hold and keep you safe until we land at the end of the program. Is that okay? So without any waste of time, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to be calling the researcher himself, Professor Khumbulani Mpofu, who is sitting at as a research chair, and that is the right terminology. So he is our research chair. So I want him to come to the fore as part of the program. So he's going to be giving us some history, performance, and just a quick reflection. We have agreed that he is going to stick on time, then we can continue the program. Thank you so much. Can we give him a round of applause?
I'm in order if I'm saying good afternoon. It is afternoon at this time. Thank you very much, Program Director, for your kind introduction. And I also want to thank all the speakers that have gone before me. This is the day that we've been waiting for a long time. We were chatting earlier on with Dr. Bui, so that we're saying, no, it's coming. And then finally it has come. But I think from my side, I want to recognize the program director, recognize the University Council, under the leadership of Mr. Magnoni, our Chair of Council, also the Vice Chancellor, Professor Van Staden, and thank him for the speech that he gave earlier on, and also the TUT executive represented by the Executive Dean, and the support that they've afforded me as a young man. You know, sometimes it's very difficult to trust young people. But this university has taken that risk, and I hope it's paying the dividends. So I also want to thank the staff members, especially the committee that put the event together. You will agree with me that some of you haven't been to such an event in a very long time. So well done to them, and I want to recognize them. We also want to recognize the Gibela board, represented by the board member who has given us the speech, and thank her for taking time. I want to also inform you that she was there at the tour, and at the tour she was very engaged. Actually, she was the most engaged member, if I can give a rating, if that's allowed. I hope that won't subtract your points there with the... But nevertheless, as well, the Gibela CEO in absentia, the Gibela executives and the entire team, we have worked very harmoniously with one another. The relationship has worked. Even as the research chair, I have no frustrations. I can tell you that, you know. Maybe they are frustrated and they are not saying it, but I have no frustrations. So thank you, colleagues, and we acknowledge that. So I have a PowerPoint that I'm going to share. But my challenge is that half the speakers have spoken about all the things on the PowerPoint. So I have very little to say. So that will help me in terms of, you know, helping the program director keep to the time. So I will emphasize some specific points, you know, and then we will then go into the next part of the program. So we are here today to celebrate the 5-year work. Unfortunately, we couldn't launch earlier, but nevertheless, maybe it's appropriate that at this time, we do the celebration and launch the second phase. So we are excited, and I'm just going to give this quick overview of what has transpired. I think earlier on the colleagues did get a sense whether they are getting value for their investment. And also it's going to be very difficult for me to read from here. But essentially what I'm relating here is the history of the chair. From the time that we started off in 2007, the research group was founded by Dr. Gumile, who was unfortunately late at this time, and it was funded by the Advanced Manufacturing Technology Strategy, the AMTS. I don't know how many of you remember that. So I was a doctorate student in that program, and I want to reiterate that when you invest in doctorate students, it's not a waste of money. I've seen articles on the papers debating whether we must give grants or we must fund research. I think some of you have read those articles. It is not a waste. It is important that we reinvest in research here so that we can develop the things that we need. And then the project was taken over by TIA, and post that, we were then also liberally funded by Mesita. Unfortunately, the Mesita CEO couldn't make it today, but Mesita has invited me to speak at their next AGM just to demonstrate that they're still supporting the work that we are doing. And then Gibela came along. Something is not working properly here. Is it me or is the computer? Sorry, colleagues, but I must do this properly. So I must be patient with this thing. Yeah, we are at University of Technology, but sometimes technology disappoints us, so please bear with us. Maybe it's the hotel technology, not necessarily our technology. There are issues with technology. So most of these awards have already been highlighted by the speakers that went before me. We've got awards from the Rising Star Awards. Not only have I got awards, but my students have also gone to these platforms and received awards from these places. Actually, even at the NSTF, we actually have one of our doctoral students who studied under ourselves that is going to be recognized at the NSTF Awards that are coming up soon. I'm not sure if they've happened already. So he's also shortlisted there. And then we also received an international award that was mentioned. We also received the Southern African Distinguished Researcher Award for the work that is taking place here. And recently we also awarded the Newton Fund award for the work we are doing. I also want to acknowledge the role of the steering committee. So we have proper governance at the, I want to assure especially the members of the boards, that there's governance here at the chair. We've got a steering committee that is chaired by, previously it was chaired by Dr. Bui. I'm not seeing her. And then now she has handed over to Mr. Mudau. So we thank them for the leadership. Mr. Khaswane also sits in the steering committee, and the head of engineering at Gibela also sits in that steering committee. And then we also have Prof. Munda, and I see also our steering committee members are also here. Maybe they can also just quickly proverbially stand so that the colleagues can see who we are talking about in case they want to ask some other questions that they cannot ask me directly. They can talk to the steering committee members. Please stand up, colleagues, just to recognize you and also appreciate you for the work that you have contributed in the progress the chair has made. Prof. Munda, please. Thank you very much. So those are the steering committee members in case you have one or two questions you want to ask Nicodemously. I click, but it doesn't move, so I'm not sure whether it's it's because we are changing from video to, because I'm clicking, but it doesn't move. Then when I click, then I realize it goes many times. So I'm not sure. Okay, maybe you can click for me. Yes, please proceed with the clicking. So I'll say click, it means that you must proceed. Okay, so these are the areas of performance that I'm going to be, I'm measured on as the research chair. And by the way, the report is on top of the table. So maybe if you can't read what is on the screen there, you can just go directly to the report. You can take the report home with you, and you can study it, and you can come back and give us feedback in case you've got ideas that you think are worth the while. But all these things that I'm speaking about are in the report that is on the tables. So these are the things that we are measured on in terms of performance. You can move on to the next slide. So in terms of skills development, in the contract, we were not, there wasn't a part where we were supposed to work with practical training of students. However, we realized that it's important for us to include P1 and P2 students. So you can go to the next slide. This is the proportion on how the students are distributed that we've supported. You can go to the next slide. And then in terms of scientific research and innovation, next slide. We have the 5 patents, and here I give the details of the patents that we've managed to register to date. Most of these patents have been fully registered, and maybe 1 or 2 still need to go through final registration. But for example, if I can speak about the intelligent reconfigurable welding jig, those who went for the visit earlier on today, you had an opportunity to see that prototype that was presented during the walkabout. Next slide, please. International research and innovation competitiveness. So we have hosted the International Production Engineering Conference last year during COVID. It was a very difficult one to maneuver. We're supposed to have the conference physically, and it was supposed to be at the Kruger National Park. The colleagues from Europe were very excited about this conference that is taking place at a proper location. And unfortunately, you know, the things that happened. But nevertheless, we say we will not postpone the event. We'll proceed. And those who know production engineering, CRP is the highest level of production engineering in the world. So all the ideas that we end up having in our manufacturing plant, they are discussed at SEP first, then they arrive at us ultimately. So we organized an event at that level, which is a sign also of the caliber of the work. Here we demonstrate also the countries that we're collaborating with the flags that are represented there, both countries from the region. You can see also flags from Europe, flags from Japan. I also recognize our colleagues from the Japanese embassy and also colleagues from Germany. My colleague from the German chamber, where we are serving together under the Human Capital Skills Development, is also here, so we have collaborations with them. We've got various professors that are actually adjunct in our department through this research chair. And so there is international expertise that is coming through and working with us to make sure that we're at the right level in terms of the work that we are doing. I must also, while it's just passing through there, confirm that we are developing very interesting projects, and hopefully at the next celebration of the 3 years, we'll be able to demonstrate some of those projects to everyone. Next slide, please. So these graphs, you can go through all the graphs up until the end. They just demonstrate what was the target in terms of the publications that we're supposed to produce and what did we achieve. So generally, you will see that we exceeded our targets. We still have a lot of work to do in terms of the book chapters and the books. There's a lot of work that we still need to do there. And already we've been approached and requested that maybe we must work on a book on localization. So we are at an advanced stage on a book around localization of manufacturing. Because localization is very important and dear, especially to this project. And if we as researchers in the continent are not defining these approaches, we're not helping the situation. So we are hoping that when we come into the 3-year celebration, we'll be able to hand you that book that we have written on localization of manufacturing, because that is important in terms of the work that is being done here. You can proceed to the next slide, please. So this then just shows the cumulative graphs. The point is still the same, moving right along. In terms of retaining excellent researchers and scientists, you can move right along. This slide demonstrates the role that postdoctoral fellows play in the research chair instrument. Most of our research chair postdoctoral fellows are not from South Africa, but they're from the continent. However, in terms of the volumes of doctoral students and master's students and publications we are talking about, we need that infrastructure to support the activities. Because as the research chair, if I'm by myself, there is no way those numbers of 100 are going to happen. So we need that support. But at the same time, we are making deliberate efforts to try and make sure that our sisters are well represented. So if you look at the report on the last page, we've got the FTMT. I hope the NRF is also going to like that. The entire FTMT team is made of ladies, including the postdoctoral fellow. And for us, we celebrate that because generally in engineering, you will see that most of the times it's male-dominated. But Gibela has led by well example, they almost have 50-50 representation. And last year, we also had a career pathways discussion with Dr. Buyi on how they are actually achieving this. And we are picking up some lessons. And in the report, you see roughly, I think it's the second from the last story, it speaks about that development. Next slide. Increase of the production of masters and doctoral graduates. So the postdoctoral fellows contribute to this. But in terms of what was the target when the relationship started, we have exceeded those targets, whether it was at master's level or at doctoral level during the past 5 years. And well done to our graduates. We'll recognize them. But maybe they can actually stand. That's why they are in the gown, so that you can see that it's not all of them that could make it, because some of them are already working, but they can please stand proverbially just to, nowadays we no longer have graduation the way we normally have it. So we have an opportunity here to celebrate them. And I must mention, especially for my colleagues from Germany, we've also graduated a PhD student from Germany. They came here to do their PhD. So in all honesty, I think there is work that even the people internationally are saying, maybe we need to do this in Africa. And TUT is the place to do it. And we celebrate that as well. Thank you very much. Next slide. So those are some of the master's students. I put pictures, but you've seen the real faces, so the picture is worth nothing now. You can move right along. Creating research career pathways. So I think this is a very important, and it has been emphasized by my earlier colleagues, but some of the people are here, so we'll also actually ask them to stand so that you see that it's real warm bodies that we're speaking about. It's not a story just on the piece of paper. Are we together? The setup and the step up. So going to the first one, I think I was an HOD at the time when Gibela approached us about this relationship, and I said I need to step aside, not because I'm not interested in the academic project of teaching and learning, but because I can create an opportunity for somebody else. So Mr. Nanzelele became our HOD. You can stand up, Mr. Nanzelele is here. So that's a career pathway that was not there before the chair came, but now is there and is sitting here, and you can witness it. Can we go with the pictures as well? And then the next candidate, I'm not sure why the slides are not moving. I'm not moving now. Yeah, that's Nanzelele. And then the next one, where is she? She can't be hiding. Okay, that one. You see that one there at the back? Can we give a round of applause? Well, she's the assistant in my office. Before this chair, she was not employed. But when this chair came, she was employed. And these things that you are seeing today is that dynamite there at the back. I cannot subscribe it on myself, so well done. These are the young people that are roaming the streets that we need to give opportunities, and this chair is doing exactly that. There's Dr. Swanepoel. Unfortunately, Dr. Swanepoel is not here. A young South African who also got an opportunity to be employed at this university. And actually, I think the colleagues who were at the exhibition on Monday witnessed the potential there. So there are career pathways that are being created. And then we've got, is that Dr. Ramatsetse? Yes, unfortunately, Dr. Ramatsetse, as people have said to me, no, this is a sad story. But I think it's an important story to be told. That here at TUT, we are producing lecturers who go and work at WITS. So he was here with us, and he was supporting the chair in all sorts of forms. He had an opportunity, but then VET offered him something. So he decided that he's going to go to VET. So unfortunately, he can't be here today because he's gone to VET. But he's representing us well there. So for me, it's an achievement. Because I think there was a time when if you're from a UOT, you can't work at those places, except if you're a technician or other things. But to be a lecturer. So I think that's well done to the young man, but also well done to the team. And then Ms. Mdlalose, Ms. Nedohe, she's one of the graduates. And currently she's also working as a junior lecturer in the department. And she's also shadowing the NRF Sachi chair. So I'm not working alone, NRF. There is a nice career pathways that are being created so that if anything happens, NRF is happy. So I see Doc is happy there as well. That's very good. And then we've got Mr. Skosana. I think the honorable board member saw Mr. Skosana. He's the one who was demonstrating the visual reality technology. That young man, when we started off, that room was not there. But through this program, that young man, that room was full of, it was a computer space. I'm speaking to the board member now, those of you who haven't been there, but those who, when you leave, you can pass through there so that you can pick up on the story and not go with the wrong story. So he, from scratch, all those things that are there in that VR room. So as we sit here, we've got a young man who has got the capabilities to set up the infrastructure from scratch. So when he's telling you the numbers, you saw he was picking numbers there. He was talking 15,000, you need 90,000 for this. He even knows the numbers off by heart. He doesn't need to go and consult the book. So these are the caliber of career pathways that we are creating in this research chair. And then there's Mr. Kulu, who was appointed as our center manager because we've got an incubator that is taking our innovations to market. Unfortunately, Mr. Kulu, due to health reasons, we had to part ways with him. But the incubator is still running, and currently there's a young man, Mr. Monzambe, who is acting so he can stand up. So that's another career pathway as well. So the investment that Gibela has made, I don't know, maybe it's in vain. I'm not sure. But you can make the conclusion of the matter. It's in your hands now to decide. Moving right along. So in terms of funding, it has been mentioned that we've, I think right now we've generated, in total, the funds that we've generated over 70 million for research and innovation activities up to date. So yes, Gibela has been generous with us. But we have not sat down. You know, sometimes researchers, when you give them money, they sit down and they say, we must just finish that budget. We haven't sat down. We said we need to go out there, engage people who have an aligned agenda and see how we can build this infrastructure. Because as we believe, as you see on the last video, we believe there are greater things ahead of us, as the inspirational speech was said. We believe we are still warming up. We haven't arrived. We will invite you when we have arrived, and you will know that, yeah, now we've arrived. So please watch this space. Continuous research, innovation, and engagement. Yes, so this is very important in terms of the future, because we spoke about the future. So the Gibela executives have considered this model. And thank you to Mulalo, the head of engineering at Gibela, who has generously given of a time where we've workshopped some of these things, engaged on the ideas, and I got confirmation from the executives that they are happy with the model, and now we need to operationalize it. So there was a lot of, speaking of operationalization by the TVC, it's not just a TVC speech. There's already work happening in the background, board member. So you can inform the board that there is work there happening at the university. We just need to ensure that we are, supporting. Yes, please, absolutely. So all that is welcome. So this model, in the coming days, we're going to be having engagements on terms of how we can actually take those technologies that have been developed at TUT-TV. They don't stay there and gather dust, because that's not what we're about, as the executive dean has said. We're about taking these things to market. So there's a table as well that would show us where exactly on the technology readiness level these technologies are at, and what we need to do, and we'll work closely with the engineers at Gibela on site to ensure that those things arrive at market. Moving right along. So these things have been mentioned. I don't have to bore you with those numbers again. You can go to the next slide. So maybe you've missed, sometimes as professors, we are so used to our stories, we are speaking very naturally, and you are lost. What is this guy talking about? When will he arrive at the essence of what this is about? So maybe the story is told better in pictures. Is that okay? Can we do something like a picture? It's just 2 minutes, and then after that, I'll be done. I think the next dish can be served. So at the back, please, if you can just take us to the video. You can go for it. Thank you very much. Just 2 minutes. So program director, let not your heart be troubled. I hope I've made the 10 minutes. It's not looking good there. Is it working? It's coming. It must go via. So maybe I can summarize the story here as well as the video is coming, and then when it starts, I will stop. So this Newton Fund competition has got 5 categories and 1 special category. So the 5 categories are around 5 countries around the developing world: Jordan, South Africa, Kenya, and a few other countries. And there's a chair's prize that comes, I think, with a 5 million rand grant. The NRF is here. They can confirm the same. So from South Africa, it was our project and the team at UCT that made it to the final stage of, the grant. And, Cape Town being Cape Town, if you're competing between Cape Town and Pretoria, it then becomes about which one is more, touristic, So obviously the project went then to Cape Town. But nevertheless, I think what is important is that this work, even the colleagues in UK are acknowledging that it's important work. For me, I think that is the message that we need to live with and say, our developmental agenda cannot be defined from overseas. For me, this is how I felt about the whole thing, that, we need to define our developmental agenda here and take it forward ourselves. We mustn't wait for people from the UK to come and say, we're going to fund you for this developmental work. Let's do that developmental work ourselves, and when it's done, we can point back and say, you know what, we did this, as our credo says at the University of Technology, that with the help of my God, I have done it. We can go for it. Some volume, please.
The global challenge that we are seeking to solve is the Sustainable Development Goal number 11, which focuses on sustainable cities and communities, and particularly have a focus as well on assisting women and children. What motivates me is the fact that we do have big challenges in the African continent, and those challenges that we face are exacerbated by the challenge of people being able to get to where they need to get to when they need to get to on time. But as we solve this challenge, there's an opportunity to create enterprises that will help reduce inequality, poverty, and unemployment, which is a huge challenge that South Africa faces in particular, but the African continent in general.
We do know that the solution will have to be appropriate for the specific groups. And that's why we will go on and carry out even a needs assessment for the specific areas, so that we'll come up with appropriate technologies that also not only help us to take technologies to the people, but also we should be able to empower the people that we'll be working with through co-creation. 10 years from now, we should be looking at an established hub and incubators around helping us to sustainably come up with these solutions.
We learned quite a lot around how to take our innovations to market, but also to begin to influence young people through leadership in innovation.
The Newton Fund impacts the very vulnerable people. It gets down to the very grassroots and solves those problems.
We're looking forward to developing virtual reality content from the design side to the manufacturing side to train people around these ways of creating mobility opportunities.
So that is the video there that tells the story. It's also on Twitter in case you want to go and relate the story at home. You don't have to, verbalize everything. We can give you the link and then you can just click and show the children too. So that this story goes far and wide and is celebrated far and wide, because I think for me it's an important story to share. Are the slides done? Next slide. So we need to acknowledge our supporters. We are indebted to you for your support, and we hope that we've been honorable servants to carry out the mandate that has been given to us. Thank you very much. As Mutao comes to the front, I just want to quote two speeches. You can be coming, Mr. Mutao, it's in order. Is the PowerPoint gone? Have you destroyed it? There are things there that I had put. Yes, you can go to the next slide. And this speaks to where we want to go, My favorite author says that higher than the highest human thoughts can reach is the goal to be reached. And this is what we're saying by what we're doing here today, that there's still a place where we need to get at. And then our Council of Chair came to our facility, like the members, the colleagues who visited this morning. And when he was there, he said, the next Elon Musk must come from Ditsila, which is that location, or the GRC, which is that location where we were at. And with your support, I believe that we will have an Elon Musk from Africa. I thank you.
A round of applause for Prof. Mpofu. Thank you so very much, Prof. You said a mouthful, and I think all of us now, we can follow the story of the GRC, which is the Gibela Research Chair. And I think there is a lot of content available in this center. There is a lot that you can also read. Don't forget to read the copy or take the copy home. Let's not do like those copies that you have there. Let's not treat them like the elections manifestos. The election manifestos. We're coming now to the to the elections now, where you will find a lot of these pamphlets thrown away or scattered, in the city, because someone felt they could not connect with the materials. But I'm hoping that you are able to connect with those materials that you have in there. So I'm going to be a slave driver, I think, so that we wrap up this program. We just have a few items left, and we've got a few items left. But I think reflecting on Prof. Mpofu, Prof. Mpofu is a very interesting prof, very inspirational by nature as well. But he reminded me when he was showing the success in terms of employment or created. He reminded me my village pastor, those village pastors. Village pastors, do you hear what I said? So, village, emakai. They are the most humble people that you will ever meet in your life. But when they come into the pulpit, certain things just off ramp. So if he buys you a suit, he will be going. Where's Mudau here? Please stand, Mudau. You see that suit? I bought it. So anyway, hey, yeah, let's just stop here. The next speaker, colleagues, will be coming from TITA. I think that is our government entity that deals with educational sector in the transport sector in particular. And from Gibela, we do have a very strong partnership and with this TITA in particular. So I want you to just welcome on the stage the CEO of TITA, Ms. Mapifo Ano Frempong. I'm hoping that I read it correctly. Okay, so let's put our hands together for her. You can also say you've got partnership with Gibela. Thank you, Bob.
Thank you so much, Program Director. You said it well. If you didn't, I would have said go back to school and tell your teachers that they owe you something. You know, I usually tell people who say, I can't pronounce your surname. I'm like, are you really from South Africa? Because if your parents are angry with you and they want to beat you, and when they're happy, they say, Tsepo, and you jump. But when they call you by surname, and your surname is Ano Frempong, they will say, No Frempong. So you will then get it. They will divide it. But thank you so much. It's interesting that Mr. Mudau made a joke about pastors. And I was like, should I laugh at the joke? Or should I be upset with him a little bit? Especially when he combines it with a village pastor. I come from a village, you see. But let me thank you, colleagues, and let me bring you greetings from the Transport Education and Training Authority, commonly known as TITA and not TETA. I usually hear people saying TETA. We used to have a SETA called TETA. TETA has an age, TITA. And let me acknowledge all of the dignitaries that are present here, from the TUT, from the council, the leadership represented by the VC, the students, and those that are wearing red caps, the beneficiaries of the program. Well done. Let me also recognize the Gibela board representative, Power to Women, and the CEO who is represented by his team, and staff members that are from there. Obviously recognize my colleague, the CEO of Mersita, who is not here, but obviously we are comrades in the skills development fraternity. I would like to also recognize the TITA executives that are present here and really just share with you words of congratulations as the Transport Education and Training Authority. TITA as an organization is driven by vision, and I will share with you the vision as I get my speak to a close towards the end. But our vision as an organization cannot be achieved in isolation. It depends on a multiple partners and stakeholders such as Gibela, institutions of higher learning, including TVET colleges, as well as providers of vocational and technical education, which we commonly called occupational private providers. But we also need beneficiaries to be part of this, and without employers and what we call the industry, whatever it is that we need to do would not succeed on its own. Now, we have been given a mandate in the transport sector to play a key role to enable all these different role players and stakeholders. So we almost like an enabler or a different broker that brings a student or a potential student or an unemployed person or an employed person, bring them together with an institution of higher learning, bring them together with the industry, and bring all of them together to come out there with skills. Now, TUT as an institution that has really established partnerships, including with Gibela, which I must say was one of the amazing partnerships that was done and sparked and ignited so quickly. I must congratulate Gibela for this. Some partners are slow. It's like they're like the girl in the village that you're trying to get her attention and she's not getting the memo. And she's drawing things on the floor and she's wasting your time and you're like, move on with the program. But I must say that Gibela is a different girl, a girl that is agile, a girl that is modern, and she gets it quickly. Now, TUT has got 6 priorities. And what I've witnessed today and what my team witnessed earlier is that they are connected to what is being done today. One of our priorities is to use 4IR and the Internet of Things, virtual reality, artificial intelligence, and all of those things, and make them a way in which we can either learn, we can either get efficiencies and work better. So our priority number 1 is digitization. What does this mean? If we look into partner with you and you've got a digitization concept, we are likely to fund you. The second one is if you're supporting SMMEs, because we have found all over the world that countries that make it, they start with a very stimulated and agile SMME section. And to hear that you've already done 10 startups, you are just on the right track. The third priority for TUT is to support TVETs. We believe, yes, I love universities. Research and applied universities, I love them. But I'm going to share with you a model towards the end that shows that you can't just excel with those being at the top, getting recognition, when the pipeline where the majority end up in, simply because they are inclined, not in the academic sense, but they are inclined possibly in the technical and vocational space. If we don't find that linkage between universities and TVETs, we're losing an opportunity where the bulk of our young Africans are in TVET colleges. So for TUT, if we're going to consider any partnership, there must be some strong relationship with TVETs. The fourth one is transformation. If you are focusing on transformation, we will fund and we will fund. The fifth one is we understand that in Africa, the regional trade is not to the extent that it should. And we believe it won't come from Europe, it won't come from North America for us to work together, but it would come from here. So the Africa Free Trade Agreement that was signed in Rwanda in 2018 is our priority in TUT. And we want to see where we can have economic hubs and logistics hubs, either in Musina or in Mozambique. When I read the newspapers, I always share with my team, and I'm sure sometimes I frustrate the hell out of them, because I'll be reading a newspaper, oh, people have been stuck in Musina for 6 days, and I'll be like, why? If we've got universities, why? If we've got TVETs, why? If we've got researchers, why can't we fix this? Why can't we fix this issue of efficiency? So Africa Free Trade Agreement for us is a gateway in which South Africa as a gateway to Africa can come up with solutions and innovate better. So if a program proposal comes to TITA, it covers digitization, it covers SME support, it covers TVET support, it covers transformation, and it covers Africa Free Trade Agreement. The likelihood is that we will move mountains to fund that project and find partners that would make that to work. And the last focus for us is revenue diversification. We are an institution, like all of you, that we are working within a budget that is going down, which means we need to do more with less. So we're always looking for partners that can either go 50-50, can go 30-70, whatever the mix is, we then look at. Why am I sharing this? I'm sharing this because in this room, not only do we have a partnership with Gibela, but we do have a partnership with TUT. And I'm sitting there with my team thinking, why is it that the one we have is not excelling like the one I'm seeing? And I'm thinking, is it because it is run by somebody else, or what does it mean? Obviously, they're going to make it happen because that is how I lead. I lead by asking questions, and I don't expect excuses. So what am I saying to TUT? You have done well, but you still have to do better, especially coming from TITA, because we've struck an agreement with you, and there's absolutely no reason why, if the culture in your institution is with God, we can do more, and we can do it. I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. And well, what Christ are you working with if he strengthens you on one hand and he doesn't strengthen you on one hand? So the mandate is clear, colleagues. Colegas, I expect a difference. All right. This initiative to me responds to those 6 priorities, and I just want to share with you a framework that we use for funding. We believe that there is a career pathway which has got 3 pillars. The first pillar is, who am I? Meaning my passions, my energy, my drive, my talents. But who am I cannot make me effective if it is not connected to what I know. Whatever I studied, whatever I've been exposed to, whatever I've been trained in. If you have a connection with who am I pillar, together with what I know, and those 2 are applied in the professional practice, which is what I do, you have a perfect equilibrium to make absolutely amazing things and look at your job as a calling. But it doesn't always happen that we all end up with those pillars connected. But usually, if you want to go far in life, you are either at the dysfunctional phase of your career where who you are is not what you're currently applying and what you have learned. And with such a person, they regard a job not as a job, it's a drag. They don't love their job. And they don't go an extra mile. They don't do the excellence our speaker spoke about. But if it is that you are what we call a usual person, you might find that the pillars are 3, but you're connected to only 2. Maybe your passion in the who am I pillar is not connected, but you are at least applying what you learned in your practice, which makes you a usual person, but you're not driven that much. But if it is that there is some connection, either with 1 or 2 of the pillars, you could be in an ideal fit. But for TITA, we're looking for the perfect fit. We're looking for my passion, my energies, my beliefs, my theories, my ethos, connected with what I learned and connected with what I practice. Some you can learn it in informal settings. Some of them you can learn by watching and observing. Now, those pathways, we then divide them into 4 quadrants. A dysfunctional person with those 3 pillars is unconsciously incompetent. And they're dangerous because they don't know. But a person that knows that they don't know in the usual quadrant is a person that is consciously incompetent. They are aware they don't know and they seek out help to be able to know. The third one is a person that is consciously competent, but they might be, they are aware they know, but the problem with knowing that you know and not having a room for mistakes is that you end up being a difficult person to teach. A person with no teachable spirit. I tell my staff, don't be afraid to say you don't know. And when you don't know, ask somebody. Don't try and cover up. Then the last thing we're looking for, especially in the transport sector, is to move you from that unconscious incompetence to that conscious incompetence to that conscious competence, and to get to a level where you are unconsciously competent. Because therefore, you are a complete person at an equilibrium. It is because of those frameworks that we do partner, and that is why we have taken steps to draw closer to Gibela as a critical rail manufacturing provider. And I must say our relationship really started to move in a right direction last year, August, when we visited Nigel, and we realized, wow, there's a lot of good work happening there. You have been paying your levies, of course, from 2014 to 2015 financially. Otherwise, we wouldn't look in your direction. And you were, Mr. Mudau, I'm sure they can give you a bonus there. Your WSP and ATR was signed in 2015, 2016. And from 2017 to date, we have been funding you for various apprenticeship programs. One was for 2.6 million, where 13 beneficiaries benefited. We have supported your workers for bursaries, 820,000. In 2020, we gave you 33 million for recognition of prior learning and apprenticeship for 100 beneficiaries. And in 2021, we didn't say, well, you haven't finished the 33 million. We gave you 5.9 million for 48 beneficiaries. And over and above that, we have funded leaders. We believe different categories of occupations require different levels of exposure and training. And to that extent, there are beneficiaries from Gibela in our executive international leadership program. So I'm really glad to have been part of the discussions today. And I would leave you with a code that says, we are the change we seek. Well done, but don't be complacent. Move forward with the support.
Wow. A round of applause one more time. Mama Pifo, I hope my boss is here. Just wanted that camera to put it on a record of what Tita CEO said. No manga business. The bonuses must come my way. So, all right. Thank you so much, Mama. You spoke. You spoke so well, and I think for us who are sort of implementation agency of the project we have signed, you have just awakened us that we need to do more. We don't want to find ourselves on the wrong side of you. I think you just emphasized that. Of course, we will make sure that we tread carefully and deliver on our part. So thank you so very much. You did speak well indeed. So this program is coming to an end, colleagues. We are not very far now. If you are lost where we are in the program, you will know that the role of Gibela, we're already done with that. So we're going to be moving into the MOU signing. and also we do the cake cutting, and we just wrap up the program. So that's what we're going to be doing now. So, and I was just thinking, maybe then we will finish our story of our executive who got it wrong during lunch. Ne? Because when he came back to South Africa, he was so inspired like you are. And he said, you know, word for word, I'm going to quote that man who is my inspiration. And there was this welcome party, the homecoming party. You know, the homecoming party, the family is here, the staff is here, everybody's here. And they are here to welcome our exec. And he said, before I start, I'm going to repeat that story again. After spending 2 weeks away from home. Ladies and gentlemen, the next item we're going to be going into, we're going to be signing the memorandum between two entities, which is TUT and Gibela. And of course, we are going to be represented here by the DVC Research and Innovation, Dr. Vatiswa. Welcome to the fore. And in the absence of the CEO, Dr. Buyisa, will also join. We've got these beautiful chairs arranged here, and we are hoping the cameras, everyone will come closer, because this is where everything is going to happen there. So before we do the signing, I'm going to request Dr. Vatiswa to inform the chairperson of the council what you are trying to do here as you introduce him to everybody that is in the room. So I want us to put our hands together for Dr. Buyisa and Dr. Vatiswa as they're coming to this side to do the signing. So please just come closer, Dr. Vatiswa. We will sanitize this one for you.
Can I stand here? Yeah, you can just stand there. Good afternoon once again, colleagues. It is a greatest pleasure for me to be welcoming our Chairman of Council, Mr. Tilson Manyoni, in our midst this afternoon. He's just arrived. And as we are welcoming Mr. Manyoni, we're also welcoming our Deputy Chair of Council. So we are so much elated that this event has been graced by not only our Vice Chancellor, but also the council members and the leadership of the university. So I would like Mr. Manyoni to just wave so that everyone can see who's our Chairman of Council. As well as our Deputy Chair. I've been asked, Chair, to tell you why are we here. There's a little bit of a caucus there, I'll wait. Okay, thank you. Chairman, I have been asked by our MC to briefly tell you why are we here? Why is there this glamour? Are they engaging into fruitless expenditure at the university? What's going on? You know, seeing these glasses, you know, we can see that there's money that has been spent. Chairman, we are here today to celebrate a collaborative effort between our university, which is a University of Technology, with industry, which is Gibela. And this collaborative effort is ensuring that as a University of Technology, underlying technology, we are contributing into solving the challenges of industry, thereby solving the problems of our community. As you know, our university is focusing much more on having an impact which is positive in our societies. And this is why we are here today. And we have not only Gibela as a funder in the room, we also have TITA, as you heard. We also have CEDA that has contributed immensely. We also have the National Research Foundation being represented in here. And Chairman, they have committed in your presence that they will be working with TUT. So it's on camera that they will be working with TUT. So we're looking forward to the journey ahead. And thank you so much once again. Our hearts are really full of gratitude. We don't take it lightly as a university that we have you as our leaders in our midst. We also, by the way, have the board member from Gibela as well. So, colleagues, you can see that this event is being graced. It's just being graced. So we are so much excited. Without any waste of time, we're going to get into the next step now. Thank you so much, Program Director, for steering the ship so well. Thank you.
All right, so you can have a seat. Yeah, so we're hoping that you guys are sorted. You've got your view properly. So I think we are going to allow the executives to sign. I think it will be in exchange, of course. Gibela will start, and then we allow as well TUT to do the same. So usually for things like this, where I come from, people clap hands, some of them, they ululate. I don't know what you do from your part of the world, you know? So you can see, Gibela, we're very committed to this relationship. No, don't worry, we've already read the document. Because we are sorted, guys. We know what is in there. And so you can see that from Gibela, we're done on our part. And I think, Dr. Vati, so inside there you should have your pen. You should, yes, you've got your own pen there. You do the same. Yeah. So can we use one copy? We sorted with one copy? All right. So we are going to allow Dr. Vatisa to sign on behalf of TUT. So from the part of the world of TUT, do you clap hands, or what do you do when you celebrate? You know, some relation, they've been hampered by pizzas and what else? You know, yeah, so it's getting there. So this relationship is very solid. And you can see that what we're celebrating here today, it's something great, worth noted. We didn't get that signature. Can we get it on camera? The hand signature, you know, the the handshake, elbow shake. All right. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so very much. Can we clap? Give them a round of applause. So it is done, Prof. Prof Mpofu? It is done. The deal is sealed now. No more nightmares for the coming 3 years. So I think you will start to believe God in the 3rd year. But for now, for now, let's celebrate what we have. The homecoming party. Ladies and gentlemen, I just arrived from America, and I've spent most of my time in the hands of a woman. And that woman was not my mother. I got it wrong as well. And that woman was not my wife. That woman was not my wife. And you can see that the room started to be very much tense. We were interested. Uguti, Baba, what are you talking about? Is it what happened when you were in America, or when you were growing up, or when you were local here? The next item. We are going to do cutting of cake. I don't know how it's done here, but I've attended so many weddings, guys. And people will cut cakes and all that. But I think this one is corporate. We're going to cut it very nicely. Dr. Rita, please come and join Dr. Wisa as I think this is sort of like cutting our cake, our ribbon as part of celebration. Dr. Wisa, you want to say those remarks before we move into the cake?
Thanks, Program Director. Thanks for the opportunity. Let me also take an opportunity to greet everyone and to also recognize the leadership of TUT, the leadership of the industry, the Gibela colleagues, the TUT academics. It is indeed an honor for us to be here today and to take an opportunity to reflect back, looking 5 years back when we conceptualized the idea, when we engaged with the dear Prof. Mbofu, when we spoke, I hope I was outside, I hope he did share with you that we met in one of the supplier days that were usually hosted by Gibela. And upon introduction from the then CEO, we then agreed that it looks like our vision is common, and therefore we can come together to make a contribution in the industry that talks to our revitalization of the railway industry. So today, on behalf of Gibela, I'd like to express gratitude for the work that's been done, and to also express gratitude to the learners in particular, especially with regards to the projects that have been executed, and also express gratitude to Prof for leading the research chair, and also the TUT leadership. We are excited today, and without further ado, Program Director, I'd like us to proceed to the cutting of the cake. Thank you.
Dr. Rita, do you want a mic, or you are going to just cut what? Oh no, chopper fella. All right. Okay, so colleagues, I've been an MC in many events. I've traveled, but I've never seen a cake that is so big. Engineering, with so much engineering design in it. Adrian, you can see some dimensions there. Yes, so I will leave it to the colleagues. I think what we're going to do is just cutting. And I think, just for, of course, I think this cake, we are not going to, take it back only to GRC. We'll find ways in how we share it. But what they are going to do here is just going to be a symbol. It will be like cutting of a ribbon. We are not going to call people to share into the cake here like we're in the wedding somewhere. Colette, don't we're not going to call people to come and eat the cake. So what is going to happen here? We just cut in the piece, split, and we can see that the piece is there, and as part of celebration. Yeah. Yeah, so we'll sanitize them, colleagues, after that. You understand that this thing of COVID makes life very difficult. Cameras, did you get it right? All right. So, if you are a cake person, Dr. Wui and Dr. Rita, you can taste and tell us if it's engineering. I don't know if it's a real cake there or it's a train, but the way it was done, with the numbers that we have there, it is significant to us at Gibela because it talks to the current train that has to be released to the customer, which is number 73. So that's what it talks to. So that's why you will see on the other side we've got that is 073. So it talks to the train that is going to the customer. And of course, thanks to the designers and everyone that was involved in this. I think when I saw it on the design prof, I said, I'm glad I'm not going to be doing this. But I think they've got it right. Thank you. Yeah. Vathi kunjalo, you're going to taste that cake and tell us ukuthi the relationship yaka TUT and Gibela, is it still things I think they are sorted. You can see they are okay. I'm not going to give anyone a mic to talk about the cake, guys. We've got a lot of things to do here. So thank you, docs. Thanks, Dr. Rita. Thanks, Dr. Boy, for that. We celebrate, and we are celebrating Gibela. We are celebrating TUT. And if you have got a sweet tooth, please hang around. You can have a piece of that. The colleagues will make sure that you are able to enjoy that. So we're now coming to the end of this event, ladies and gentlemen. So what is going to happen here when I am done, I'm going to hand over to our organizers who are going to help us to understand in terms of the photo shoot. There will be photo shoot happening in here from the execs and all those that are here, our guests. And the other thing is that after that, we're going to enjoy our lunch. It's going to be a cocktail lunch. We're hoping that you're going to enjoy that as well. So the last person that is going to come here, as I wrap up my story of the homecoming party. Ladies and gentlemen, you can see I've just arrived and I've spent most of my time in the hands of a woman. And ladies and gentlemen, that woman was not my wife. And remember, he wanted to repeat the story word for word. Unfortunately, he lost the last part. And he just said, I can still remember her or her name. And you know what chaos was caused in the event. Can we put our hands together for Prof. Munda as he ascends the stage? It is a wrap, ladies and gentlemen. I hope that you have enjoyed yourself and my work is done in here. So thank you so very much.
Wow. So, distinguished guests, captains of industry, chairpersons of boards, executives from different industries represented here. Mine is to give a vote of thanks. But as I do that, I want to believe that you've all enjoyed today's celebration. My name is Josiah Munda, Assistant Dean in the Faculty of Engineering and the Built Environment. I'm in charge of research and innovation. But when Prof. Pofu was sharing his slides, you saw my picture as one of the steering committee members. So I also wear a hat of being the chair advisor. So maybe sometimes when things are good, I wear that hat. When it's not going very well, I also know how to duck under the table. We want to thank each and every person who's made this possible. It's been a long journey. It's been a long week. As been indicated, we started on Monday with a roadshow at the plant. A number of us were there. This morning also we started at Ditsela Place. The executives, a number of them were there from about 8 o'clock before we came here. I'm privileged and honored to have been on this journey. We are talking about 5 years, but it's slightly more than 5 years. Dr. Buiswa, Mr. Mudau, and some of my colleagues were here. It's been a long journey, and that I've been part of it right from the beginning. It's a great, great honor. So number one, I really want, it's been said before, I know most of my colleagues from the Vice Chancellor to the DVC to Prof himself have done part of my work expressing gratitude here and there. But I also want to, on behalf of TUT, once again, to thank from the bottom of our hearts, Gibela Rail, for this trust, for this confidence, for the support that has been given, and is not only the financial support, but they've made human capital available at any time we need that human capital to work with us. When we started, along the way, then the incubator came in. Dr. Buisia was the chairperson of the steering committee, and when the incubator came, she also took over as the chairperson of the board until call of duty came, and she was then given other responsibilities, and she handed over in the able hands of Mr. Mudau, who is not only a great chairperson, but you can see is also a great program director, MC. All that has been achieved, colleagues, we also need to thank very much and appreciate the efforts of the young man, the young professor, one of the youngest in TUT, especially when he started, Prof. Kumbulani Mpofu. I knew him when he was still a PhD student, and he's grown to be now my colleague, if not, yes. We are now at the same level. Yes. You've done well, Prof. Pofu, and you've done well because of the team around you. You've selected a good team. Ours is only to support, but that we can come here and celebrate. If you didn't do a great job, the signing of another 3 years would not have happened. Would have written a close-up report and posted it quietly, and that would have been it. But that we've got another 3 years to work with, it's something worth celebrating. So I also want to thank TUT leadership, Prof. Van Staden, and we are privileged to have the chairperson of council and the deputy chairperson of council, so that confidence and trust is both ways, that this has been possible. I know universities have got their challenges. We're supposed to teach, do research, community project. Some of the things Prof. Pofu is doing, some people will wonder, but where is the teaching here? Maybe we don't need to support it. But that we've given that support all along shows a lot of confidence from TUT. The industries that are represented here is a long list, and government, we've got TITA, we've got AXA, we've got NRF, we've been working with them for a long time, Newsroom Africa, Media House, Empower Works, and so on. Of course, Alstom is we know Alstom, where it comes from. Saflong SA, colleagues from Germany, from Japan, and so on. Thank you very much for being part of this. I didn't want to, there are so many speeches that are worth repeating, but because of time, we'll not do that. But I want to assure the CEO from TITA that you listed a few, the 6 areas, and where tick boxes, and then you say we can talk. I can assure you that whatever challenges are there, please, this is evidence that we are up to the task. We work with sitters. I'm not seeing my colleague who is leading us in that front. We work with SMEs. We work with TVETs. We signed MOUs with 26 of them many, many years ago in my other life. So all those areas that you mentioned, let's talk at the end of this and see that whatever it is we are doing with Gibela, the little that we are doing with TUT that maybe is not booming so much, together we will make it work. Thank you very much. I also want to thank the steering committee. Prof is not alone. Is one of those chairs I lead. I'm a steering committee member of all the chairs in our faculty because of my portfolio. And in terms of the working even at the steering committee level, not just by talk, but in a focused way, quarterly, and Mr. Mudau drives all the way to Pretoria to sit in the office, not being a board member, not being a chairperson, but being an operation person to make it happen. I want to thank the steering committee colleagues very much. And of course to thank those in gowns and those who are not here today for supporting this journey. And finally, the way forward, just borrowing from that inspirational speech, the way forward is rough. Prof. Pofu showed us that we've achieved a lot along the journey. A lot still needs to be done. I want, on behalf of my colleagues, my executive dean and the DVC, to give a commitment that we will do all that is humanly possible to do better than we've done in the first 5 years. So we will support that very much. And finally, we are reminded that if you want to go far, you work with others. We are working on this journey with Gibela. CEDA came in with the incubator, MidSita with some work package on the other chair that is ending soon. We are working with NRF, flagship project, and other colleagues, the TITA here, and all other colleagues. You are welcome to join hands with us to grow this partnership, because what we are doing is not only creating employment and opportunities for Swane, we are doing it for the whole region, we are doing it for Africa, we are doing it for the whole world as we work on those UN goals that are before us. So I come from energy space, we are talking on water space, we are talking on number 11, sustainable cities and so on. Let's join hands and make this a reality. I know I stand between you and lunch, but Mr. Mudau, I want to also break protocol and invite the chairperson of council of TUT, Mr. Tilson Manyoni. He wants to say a word or two, if you allow. Of course you'll allow. Mr. Manyoni.
Thank you. Is it on? Good afternoon to everybody. You can see I'm not dressed up because I was not supposed to be speaking. However, when you are called to serve, you need to appreciate that it's a duty and it's a function that some of us have taken upon ourselves. Firstly, let me, on behalf of the Council, pass a vote of confidence to the university staff the Vice Chancellor, the Executive Management, DVC Research, Innovation, Executive Dean, and all the members of the university management team. Let me secondly appreciate Dr. Mpofu, or Prof. Mpofu, and the team. It's an achievement, and some of us are very, very proud of this moment. Let me also recognize a vote of appreciation to industry partners that are here, TETA. I believe that we also have other partners from other cities, and more special to Gibela Rail. I happen to know where Gibela Rail is. It's in Niger. I'm from Springs. I know the place quite well. In fact, I know that Gibela Rail is just put together an incubation hub in Guatemala Springs. I'm humble as a citizen of that township. And lastly, let me also recognize a few friends of mine from DSI, Daniel Deloitte. More importantly for us, let me also pass a great vote of confidence to the Council of TUT. When we, about 2 years ago, TUT took a decision led by the Council, that we're very clear who do we represent. We're very clear what this institution is, what we stand for, and what we want to become. And as a Council, we took 2 big resolutions. One, we want to have industry partners. We want to have collaboration with industry. It is my drive and my team and the whole executive. The privilege we have as TUT is led by a young, dynamic team of council members. And I'm proud today on their behalf. And that's why we took time for our schedule to say we'll come, so that we show support to this initiative. Because colleagues, it's important. It's very important when industry and academia partner. And TUT, we say we make knowledge work. It means we bring life theory to practice. You need that collaboration. You need that partnership. And I've been privileged as chair, having seen the Gibela base, and Dr. Prof. Mpofu and the team, the work that they do. We need more of those. The success of this country, it depends on partnership between academia, business, and civic society. We're in a moment of greatness in this country. I tell people all the time, South Africa is made up of 2 types of citizens, the pessimist and the optimist. And the optimist is the progressive one. Is people like you in this room that believe and care that we're a great nation. We can achieve things together. It's very important, colleagues, that some of us, we repeat these things time and time again. The center must hold. We are the center. If we people in this room appreciate that we must roll up our sleeves, we must work together and build this country, history will judge us. Our children will remind us, what did we leave behind? So today, I am so privileged as the chair of TUT that I see this partnership take shape and grow. And I want to say to the executive of Gibela, in TUT, we have a partner. We want to build a relationship because we can achieve more. And I hope you don't get tired and you give us more. If you say ask, I must ask for money. So I'm not going to disappoint you. I'm not going to disappoint because, I tell people, one of the things that we need to do in this country, we got to democratize the space. What do I mean by that? It cannot be that we limit opportunities to the few. TUT as a university represents more than 66,000 students. That's our family. That's what we represent. And if industry appreciate that and partner with us, then leadership will make an impact, all of us. It's about impact. And I hope this today affirms that partnership, affirm that commitment from both the TUT and our industry partners that we can do more together. So without taking too much of the spotlight, in closing, I just want to say on behalf of the council, we have a big initiative that TUT is launching. We are pushing TUT we want it to become the digital advanced university. We want TUT to lead in the space of future of work and for RR. And I hope Gibela and all our partners will be there to support us. Thank you very much.
Hey, wathi ngisheshe ngahamba. All right, so I've been deployed back to come and just facilitate. As a deployee, you need to understand the mandate. I don't know if you understand, comrade. There's a mandate that you are given as a deployee. So I'm here to facilitate one. So there will be, I think as you leave, there will be some gifts which have been organized for all of you. So if there is a place where you need to declare the gifts, do likewise. So I've got only one that I'm going to do it here on the stage. I think through you, Doc Buisha, because the CEO is not here. Should I call you or the secretariat of the board? Which one should I? Would you receive it? The secretariat. Okay, the secretariat, you are coming to receive on behalf of the CEO. Dr. Vatis, are you the one who is handing over? Who is handing over the gift for the CEO? Who is doing that? Is it you? So okay, so please come to the fore, and the secretariat will receive on behalf of the CEO. Can we put our hands together for them? So you want to do it here? I think it's still fine if we do it here. So I think you can see even the material there is very transparent for transparency purposes. So there you go. Secretariat, you can receive it on behalf of the CEO. All right. So you don't want to say anything in receiving that. In receiving that, you don't want to put it on the record that you have received it. No, I mean the secretariat. So okay, we are told now that from the executive of TUT, Gibela as well, we're going to do the photo shoot. In actual fact, for me to get very clarity, Loiso, please come closer. Or is it Papama? Either Papama or Loiso, one of the two, please come. I was given a mandate, which I don't think is clear, comrade. Sometimes you don't need to just run and not know which side are we running to. So earlier on, it was the execs that are going to take photos this side. We're going to do it here. Okay, so maybe just in the interest of time, can we request all the execs, Gibela execs, TUT execs, please come to the fore as we're going to be taking the photos. What else am I missing from the directive? Is that all? Okay. All right, and also, we don't want to leave our strategic stakeholders. Tita, please come. Who else? Adrian, please come. You, please come. So who else? Our strategic partners that we're forgetting here. Please come. Come again. NRF, please come. Please come. Let's come in here. We're taking these quick photos. All right, I think the next thing left for us is just for lunch. From our organizing team, do we have any directive for lunch? What is happening? But what is So I think we can start dishing. We're going to follow your directive. Prof Mpofu, I think lead the pack. And as we dish. So everybody, we're going to allow the table on my far left to start. And we can just follow that order until we are all sorted. Enjoy your lunch.
See, I want the mic. I don't know.